On today's show, how advisors can use education in the life settlement market to recruit new clients. Part 5 of this week's series on Life Insurance Settlement Update for 2014 with President and CEO of the Life Insurance Settlement Association, Darwin Basin. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist, a contributing author, and a backroom technician in Innsmouth. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Darwin.
Hello.
Day 5, hey, all week. Wow.
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about life insurance settlement, the market. We're back. Rejuvenated market, a brand new. I'd like to push the restart button on it, right? Talk a little bit about the association. Now, all week we've been talking about the settlement market per se, but let's talk about the association. Anytime people come together to form an organization, there's some kind of industry need. So you must have thought this through. Somebody back in the day said, hey, we need to organize around this because this is now becoming a market in and of itself. So give me a little bit about the front end genesis of LISA.
Of how that, well, I believe that the core of LISA's development was the need to come together and to try to make sure that we were going to be having a secondary market that had some credibility. So to put a code of ethics and standards of practice in place, to write position papers and take positions on issues like wet paper, and I think to begin the process of understanding that this is a state-regulated industry, so there was going to have to be good regulations and legislation by all the states to make this a very legitimate marketplace. And that's what happened during the early years. In fact, that's what happened up until, through the, almost up through the 2008, 2010 time period. But I believe that we are, in terms of hitting the reset button on the industry, I think the association is trying to hit a reset button or another level of rejuvenation, and we need to move into the education and awareness area about the value of a life settlement to consumers, and of course also with investors. But investors are very bright people. They will catch on. They will take an opportunity to put money in industry in an asset class that is legitimate. So a very big effort needs to be put in place to figure out how can consumers become more aware.
You have advisors now that have been with you, probably people that participate in life settlements. And so for them, why would they join LISA? Why do those kind of people, why have they been your members for such a long time?
I think they just have felt they've understood the value and the importance of coming together and to be able to make positions for the industry that really work. And when you're going to when you look at the fact that we're all involved in the transaction, it's how can you make that transaction happen more efficient, more effective, so that it's fair for everyone, and all those issues can be worked out in an association environment. Another area which is important to them is they understand and know the work that we do in a regulatory environment that is for their benefit. For example, in the state of New York, we have, we have an anti-fraud. They have an anti-fraud act, and we have put an anti-fraud plan in place. And any provider who is a member of the association doesn't have to put themselves up, an individual firm. We do that for them. So there's a lot of common things that we can do. I think going forward, probably the greatest benefit we can do for the industry and for anyone who will join us will be awareness in marketing. In 2008, a lot of these firms were devastated. They went through a 2-year period of time where business went away and they spent all their resources. And they don't have the kind of capital to be able to put together a marketing program for awareness and education to consumers and all the advisors that they could do if they joined the association. So we have recently created, in addition to our regular membership, we've created associate member. Say, for example, producers and agents and planners and all people who have an interest in the life settlement market, but still they're not in that full time. They can join the association under associate membership for like $1,200 a year.
Now, the thing that why they want to join is because you have a lot of material on that website that could really help them. I mean, I asked yesterday's show, I said, hey, I want to go out there. Where do I get this information? Oh, yeah, it's on our website. And a lot of this information that they need for their practice, rules of engagement, understanding the regs for their state are out there.
Yeah, they are. And we currently have a large, a very dedicated fundraising effort because I believe that, and you would understand this more than anyone, I believe that the core of what an association can be for consumers, investors, and to bring all of our members together is a website. I mean, given today's digital environment and all the technology that's moving forward, a website becomes the real core. So we are in the process of redoing our website and enhancing it so that it really works for consumers who are trying to understand the basics of what they might have, all the way through the transaction of all our members, and have all the regulations and all on there. So it is a great resource for anybody that wants to be a part of this industry. So I believe our membership will increase significantly when we all feel that we have this common purpose that we're coming together for.
We're getting comfortable with the whole reset idea, and I think it's going to be huge. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the upcoming Scottsdale convention, the new continuing ed program that they're going to be launching out later on in the fall. I think it'll really help your practice and get you your feet wet and dip your toe in the water. Let's just see how you want to look at life settlements for your client, and especially, again, as a recruiting tool to get new clients. I think there's a huge area to go into. We'll be right back after the break. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back to our second segment. Of course, I'm with CEO and President of the Life Insurance Settlement Association, Darwin Baston. Darwin, I have up here your logo for your upcoming Life Settlement Conference here in Scottsdale. Tell me a little bit about what's going to be going on in this conference.
The conferences that Lisa has sponsored now for over 20 years, which is pretty amazing. They've had a spring conference and a fall conference. We added an institutional investor conference beginning in 2010. And it's amazing to know the difference between what goes on in the conference today than it was, 7, 8 years ago. 7, 8 years ago was a lot about marketing and a lot about, the brokerage community, and it was all about selling and all. And it's become more of a conference that has topics that really appeal, I believe, to everyone. We have a lot of discussion about, the issues and the challenges around longevity, the issues and challenges around, the business aspects of life settlements as well. So we try to scatter it with different topics of marketing and, and the transactions and different things that affect the market over the 2-day period, and still allow time for people to have, to gather together and to have some good networking and some fun.
Now, part of this is going to be 6 hours of CE. Now, is that also transferable for my attorneys and my CPAs? Will they get their CPE and CLE as well?
Well, that's probably one of the biggest changes that we made in the conferences, and it's the biggest change that came about now at this particular conference, is that there's going to be CE credits for producers. There are CE credits for financial planners. There is CLE credits of the compliance part for attorneys. And so it really has turned into a very educational event, and it's been quite a change.
Well, when I'm thinking about this conference and how you've done these annual conferences, when a conference comes up like this, and this is probably the biggest conference that you've had in a long time, because there is funder activity out there, and people are willing to play. There's investors, some hedge funds, some funders are already out there saying, we don't see an inventory of new policies to select from. This could be a huge boon to really upscale your practice and really build out your business using life settlements as a lead to seniors. I mean, if you would have told me, this is a couple of years ago, that advisors were penetrating the senior market by just talking about reverse mortgages. They didn't sell it, they didn't get involved in it, just that they brought it up as their first contact conversation, that this could be a way to turn an asset that they have and turn it into cash. Now we're talking about a secondary asset like a life insurance contract that they may not be using, that they could actually turn into cash. So I see the same enthusiasm that we have for reverse mortgages now transferring over to life settlements, because it is in the same genre for the senior.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's what we've tried to work so hard to turn that into an event that reaches that particular group.
Now, what's a good reason? You talk to your advisors, they're right there. Talk to your advisor. Why should I come to Scottsdale and come to this conference?
Well, first of all, as an advisor, you should come to the conference just to understand and learn that a life settlement is a very important asset for your client, and that life settlement can provide a tremendous amount of financial security, just like all the other assets they have. So they will be able to use that at some point, and so to come and learn as much as you can about it so that you can talk to your clients about it. And also to come so that you'll know where you can go to get additional information, additional help from members of LISA and from our website, so that you can really then know, oh, when my client asks me, what's this life settlement? At least you can have a conversation about it, you can understand how it works, and you can understand where to send them where they can get some help.
Remember, it's going to be here in Scottsdale at the Omni, October 5th through the 7th. They're going to have a compliance track the next day if you want to stay for that. And that's going to have their advisor track on the 7th. That'll be the one the CE, I think, is done.
That's correct.
And yours truly will be speaking there. So there's a lot of good reasons to come to the settlement market. I'll be talking specifically on audit technology that we use for policy review and why we're looking at life settlements as an option. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, or your broker-dealer compliance officer. Missed an episode? Just hop out to our site, downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. Want to email me? steve@downtobusiness.tv. And remember, you could be wiser as an Ash Brokerage advisor. I'm Steve Savant. See you next week.